Hello and welcome to this free training and webinar session on Microsoft Power Virtual Agents. Now, if you're a beginner or are looking into how to create bots, then this training session will be useful for you. My name is Paresh Sharma. I'm a principal consultant business architect, and I've been working in Dynamics 365 for over 16 years now, mainly in customer engagement and Business Central, which was previously known as Dynamics Nav. I'm also a blogger and a YouTuber, and you can find me on Tech Quantum and 365 Pros. I'm mostly active on Tech Quantum at the moment. Now, this training session and webinar will be broadcasted on a Webinar Jam, also on Facebook and on YouTube Live. Now, based on the channel that you're using, I would recommend you to adjust your resolution to either 180p or 720p for best experience. Now, coming on to the agenda, we are going to cover four main parts in Power Virtual Agents. First is the Power Virtual Agent overview. Then we are going to see how to build a bot. And then we are going to see how to publish a bot. And then how to escalate conversation, that is handing over the conversation to a real agent. So stay tuned. Okay, so the first question is, what is Power Virtual Agents? Well, it is a no-code or a low-code platform provided by Microsoft, which helps you build and deploy chatbots. So basically, Power Virtual Agents lets you create powerful chatbots that can answer questions posed by your customer, other employees, or visitors to your website or services. Now, these bots can be created easily without the need of a data scientist or developer. Some of the ways that the Power Virtual Agent bots have been used in the recent times have been in COVID-19 infection rate and tracking information, sales help and support issues, opening hours and store information, employee health and vacation benefits, and common employee questions for business. Now, these are some of the examples, but the use of it is very broad. Now, Power Virtual Agent is available as both as a standalone web application and as a discrete app within Microsoft Teams. Now, most of the functionality between these two are the same. However, there might be different reasons to choose one version or the other based on the ways you want to use Power Virtual Agents. Now, if you go to this link on docs.microsoft.com for web application, here you will find more information about Power Virtual Agents web application. Now, when do you use the web application? Well, the scenario can be that you are an IT administrator and want to create bots for your customers to engage with, or you are used to chatbot services in the past and want to do a trial or test Power Virtual Agents, or you're familiar with advanced chatbot concepts such as entities and variables and want to create complex chatbots. In that case, you can use the web application. Also, for Microsoft Team apps, you can go to this link on docs.microsoft.com. And over here, you will find much more information about Power Virtual Agents app within Microsoft Teams. Now, when would you like to use Microsoft Teams? Well, one of the scenarios can be that you are an employee or a member of an organization or team and want to create chatbots to answer common questions posed by your employees or teammates. Or you want to use advanced concepts such as entities and variables but have the chatbot available only internally. Then you will use the Microsoft Teams app. Well, the other scenario can be that you want to create and distribute a chatbot in the shortest possible time. Also, then you can use Microsoft Teams app. Now, let us have a look on how you can create an account. Well, first of all, you need to sign up with your work or school email account. That is the account which is linked to your Dynamics 365 account. All right. And also it has been licensed as well. Now, if you want to see the whole process of signing up to Power Virtual Agents trial, well, then you can go to docs.microsoft.com, and over here it explains how you can sign up for Power Virtual Agents. If you do not have a work or a school account and you want a 90-day trial account to be created, then you can use this Microsoft 365 developer program. Click on Join Now, and it will take you through some wizards where you can create your work or a school account, but it will be a 90-day trial account. All right. And finally, when you get that trial account, you can sign up over here, enter the email address and follow the instructions to take you to Power Virtual Agents. Now, once you are done signing up, well, then you can go to the web.powerva.microsoft.com, and then sign in with your work or school email address. So here I'll provide my work or school email address, click on next, provide my password and click on sign in. Now, when you log in for the first time, it will take you to this pop-up window which says create a bot. Now over here, you can give a name to your bot. Let's say Tech Quantum, and then select a language, let's say English US, and then select your environment over here where you want to create this chatbot. Now, in my case over here, I have already created a chatbot TQ, the short form of Tech Quantum. So I will just leave it as it is. So if you click on create, it will take some time and then create the chatbot for you to work on. Now, once your chatbot has been created, you will land up on this particular page. All right. So let's have a look at some navigation options. So the first thing is the home page where you see the test bot section, which will be available. Here you can test the chatbot or the topics that you create. Okay. And over here in this section, you will find many useful links, like you can go to your suggested topics, you can test a bot, and you can also publish a bot over here. If you're a beginner or you're learning how to work with Power Virtual Agents, well, then I will recommend that you use these particular links over here, where you can also find many videos, and there's a dedicated YouTube channel for Power Virtual Agents where you can find more topics. So the next section is the topics. Well, a topic is a starting point of a conversation. So for example, there can be many topics around getting quick answers in an emergency, or resolving a complaint or a problem, or making reservations, for example, for a restaurant or a hotel, or paying your bills, etc., etc. So basically, it's a starting point of a conversation where there can be a triggering mechanism where, you know, the chatbots get activated. And then there can be a series of anticipated questions and their answers that a chatbot can take care of. And at the end, if required, you can also hand over the conversation to a real agent. Now, before you go ahead and start creating a topic, you need to consider a few things. For example, first of all, what is the intent of the chatbot? All right, so an intent performs an action in response to natural language user input. That means a person can come and ask for, let's say, help for booking a hotel. So once you define what is the intent, you can carry out the next processes. All right. Now, the second thing is that what are the utterances? That means the events or the catchphrases that activates your bot. So utterances are spoken or typed phrases that invokes your intent in this case. So for example, a person can come in and say, hey, I would like to book a hotel. Or he can just say, can you please help me in getting a reservation? Or just the word hotel can be some type of, type phrases, which then activates your chatbot. And once your chatbot gets activated, certainly it will be asking some questions. For example, in which city would you like to take a hotel reservation? And then once you ask the question, you will be waiting for some responses. All right. So those are slots or input data that is required to fulfill your intent. Finally, once you go through the whole process, well, it's a fulfillment, which is a mechanism for your intent. That means what is the end state? For example, once you have fulfilled the demand, then would you like to end the chat or take a survey or hand it over to, a real agent to talk further? So these are some of the things that you need to keep in mind, and it would be good that you sort of prepare a flowchart before you start building a complex topic. So let's just go ahead and build this particular example of booking hotel. Okay, so over here I am in my Power Virtual Agents environment. And under the topics, you will see that there are a number of topics that are listed by Microsoft itself. Now, if you create your own custom topic, it will also be listed over here. In this case, we are going to create a topic for hotel booking. And for that, let's just click on new topic. Now, let's just provide a name for the topic. Let's say hotel booking. And the friendly name, that is the name that is reflected towards, to the user, can be different than the name over here, right? So you can provide a friendly name. In this case, it is the same hotel booking. And you can also provide a description over here optionally, okay? So let's just say topic to help book hotel, All right. Now, once you have done that, you need to specify trigger phrases. Now, these trigger phrases are nothing but events or the phrases based on which the chatbots get activated. So for example, I can say, hey, I need help in booking a hotel. So as soon as the system sees that phrase, the chatbox gets activated and it starts asking relevant questions. So you can specify multiple trigger phrases over here, and it would be good that you start with 5 to 10 diverse phrases. So for example, in our case, let's just say book a hotel, and let's say a user can also ask about hotel reservation, or there can be a phrase such as, could you help me to book a hotel? So it can be anything. For example, it can be just the word hotel. All right. So it's, first of all, it's not case sensitive. So, it doesn't matter if you provide it in uppercase or lowercase. So once you have provided the trigger phrases, now it's time to go to authoring canvas. Okay. So either you can save the topic, or if you click on go to authoring canvas, it will first save the topic and then take you to the authoring canvas. So here you will see that the topic is saved, and then there is the authoring canvas over here where you can start creating the logic based on which the bot will proceed further. Now, as we can see, the trigger phrases that we specified in the previous screen are available, and if if user specifies any of these trigger phrases, the bot will get activated, and then you can specify a message over here. Let's say you specify welcome to hotel booking. All right. And there is some kind of formatting also that you can do. For example, I can specify that it is in bold. And then as soon as the message is displayed, there are various other actions that you can perform. So you can click to add a note over here. And what you can do is you can ask a question. You can call for an action. You can show a message, or you can redirect to another topic, or you can end conversation. All right. So obviously we do not want to end a conversation, but we would like to ask a question like, which city do you want to book the hotel in? All right. So let's just ask a question here. Let's say, which city are you looking in? All right. So you can get creative with your sentence formation. Just for the demo purpose, I'm just specifying which city. And obviously it cannot be a multiple choice option here because the customer, let's say, can provide name of any city, right? So what we can do is we can select our identifier here, and then we have city available. So we can just select this, and you will notice that as soon as the user provides the name of the city, the response will be stored in this particular variable. So to identify this variable, within your flow, you can have many variables. So to identify this variable properly, I would suggest to, change the name of the variables. So let's say it is variable city, and then you can close it. So once the user has provided the city name, let's say Brisbane City. So what you can do is you can ask another question saying, all right, what date are you leaving? All right. So we can make this in bold, and again, you can choose the identifier here, and it can be a date and time. And that response will be stored in this particular variable. So let's just change this name to variable date. Once the user has provided all those information, you can ask for confirmation. So for example, I will ask a question here, and I will ask, are you sure you want to book a hotel in this particular city that they provided on this particular date? All right. And we can make all of this bold as well. All right. So this will be a dynamic in nature. So whatever city user provides, it will be available here, and the date he provides will be available over here. So for example, are you sure you want to book a hotel in Brisbane on December 24th, 2021? All right. So in this case, we can have an option. Either it is yes or no. So what we can define multiple answers here. That is yes, and click on new, and then specify no. All right. So either a person can say, yeah, this is the right information, or it's not a right information, right? And let's just say where confirm. So here you will see that as soon as you provided the options yes and no, this particular node changes into to branch. For example, what would you like to do when the user says yes, and what would you like to do when the user says no? So what I would like to do is, as soon as the user says yes, I would say, all right, I can show a message. Thank you, the reservation went successfully. And then what I can do is I can end this conversation with a survey. Now, if the user selected no as an answer, I can do many other things, like I can call for an action, create a flow, trigger something, and then either show a message, redirect to another topic, or end the conversation. We'll come to all that later on. For now, what I want to show is, okay, I would just want to show a message. So for example, I can just say the reservation was not successful, please try again, and then just leave it over there, or maybe end the conversation by a survey. All right. So let's just say that this is our simple hotel booking topic flow that we wanted to create. And what we can do is we can save this topic. Now, if you want to test this hotel booking, what you can do is go to this test bot section here. In case this is not displayed, then you can click on this test bot icon over here to either hide it or to show it. Okay. So let's just say I select any phrase that is not a trigger phrase. So let me just say I click on hi. Now you will notice that hi was not a trigger phrase, but the bot went ahead and provided some, default messages over here. So what can I help you with today? Now let's say I provide a trigger phrase by saying, hey, I'd like to book a hotel, and click on send. And as soon as I provide that trigger phrase, now you will notice that it's not an exact match over here, right? It's not an exact match, but it contains some of the words or phrases that match one of the trigger phrases. Okay, so as soon as it matches, it triggers the bot for this particular flow in the topic, and it will show you the message, welcome to the hotel booking, as you see over here. And then it asks the next question, which city? Now it has stopped over here because it is waiting for an answer for you to provide. Okay, so what you can say is Brisbane, let's say, for example, and then click on send. So as soon as you provide that answer is stored, that response is stored in this particular variable. And based on the flow, it asks you the next question, what date are you leaving on? All right, I can say December 24th, 2021, and then I can click on send. All right, now as soon as I provide the date, you will notice that it asks me another question that I have put over here. And based on the dynamic values that are provided, those are replaced, the variables are replaced over here with actual value. Obviously, I need some formatting over here because it's a date and time, so I need to make sure that only date is displayed. So all those things can be done, but over here it displays two options that we provided. Is this correct or is this not correct? So if we click on yes, let's say for example, it displays this message, thank you, the reservation went through successfully. And also I had selected another topic which was already available, which is end of conversation. So because of that, it is asking me, another question. Did that answer your question? I would say yes. And then it shows me the survey because I had selected end the conversation with a survey. All right. And then I can go ahead and specify a survey, and then thanks for your feedback. Can I help for anything else? I can say no thanks. All right. So if you do not want this, you can define your own topic and then redirect it to your own topic based on what kind of ending that you need. All right. Similarly, if you had selected no over here in this response, it would have taken you through this particular flow. So this is a simple example where I displayed how you can create a test bot. how you can create a topic within a bot, and then how you can go to the canvas and then configure the flow over here. Next, we are going to look into entities. Now, in natural language understanding, an entity represents the information that the bot might want to pick up out of a conversation with your customer. For example, places, things, people, events, or concepts. So in Power Virtual Agents, there are either pre-built entities or custom entities. Now, the pre-built entities are provided by the system and help the bot to identify common information such as age, color, numbers, and names, whereas the custom entities give specific domain knowledge. So let's go ahead and have a look at entities. So here I am in my Power Virtual Agents area, and over here you can click on entities. And here under the entities section, you will see all the pre-built entities as well as the custom entities that you define. So entities basically are containers that hold certain set of values. Now, for example, there are these many set of predefined entities. So basically we need a set of variables which will extract the required piece of information from a sentence. For example, if I write a sentence saying, my email address is xyz@something.com. So the bot should be able to extract that email ID in from that whole sentence. Okay. So for that, we can use the entities called email. The hotel booking, topic that we created in there, we were asking for a city. So in case, a user provides the city name, like, I want to book a hotel in Brisbane City, then the bot should be able to extract the name of the city, that is Brisbane. I could also provide some other city, say Melbourne or something else. So the bot should be able to, extract the relevant information. Now, similarly, we have age, boolean, color, continent, country or region, etc., etc. Now, apart from these pre-built entities, we can also create a custom entity. Now, before creating a custom entity, let's just see a pre-built entity. For example, let's open the money entity. So when you click over here, it will open the details panel for this entity. Here you can see an explanation of the entity and the ways it can be used to look for information related to money or currency from a user's input. Now, for example, when a user inputs it costs 1,000 euros, using this money entity, the bot knows that the 1,000 euros represents the money type information. So when the bot extracts this entity and saves it to the variable, it will save 1,000 as a number, even though the surrounding information was text. Now, if we go back to our entity list, and if you look at these entity lists, the pre-built entities cover commonly used information types, but on some occasions, such as when building a bot that serves a specific purpose, you will need to teach the bot language understanding model some domain-specific knowledge. For instance, let's say you want to build a bot for payment methods. In this case, you will need to teach the bot to acknowledge the various payment methods category in a dialog. Now, to do this, you need to create a custom entity. And in this case, we are going to create a new custom entity. So let's just click on new entity. Now, as soon as you click on new entity, this opens up a panel where you can choose the type of entity, either a closed list or a regular expression or regex. Now, closed list entities lets you define a list of items. This is best used for small lists that are easy to manage and that have simple item labels. Whereas a regular expression or regex entities lets you define a logical pattern that you will use to match and extract information from an input. Regex entities are great for complex pattern matching against a user input, or if you need to allow a specific variations in how a user might format or enter their input in a conversation. So for example, you could use a regex entity to identify items such as tracking ID, a license number, a credit card number, or an IP address from a string that the user enters in a bot. So we'll come to that later. Let's just select the closed entities list at the moment. So if you click on this, Now this will show you a panel where you can specify the name of the entity. So let's put in the name over here as payment method. You can also provide a description. So let's just say entity for payment method, and enter the items you want included in the entity. So for example, in this case, we want some payment methods, let's say pay by card, or we can say pay by cash. Okay, so let's just take these two examples at the moment, right? Now, when you enter these items, you can do a couple of things. You can rename this item, you can delete this item, and you can click over here to add synonyms for this particular item. So for example, for card, the user may not necessarily mention card. He can mention any other synonyms for this card, right? So you can add the synonyms for this particular item. So if you click on this, it opens the synonyms panel, and here you can add the synonyms for this particular item, which is card, right? So for example, this can be a bank card, it can be a debit card, or you can just call it plastic, or you can call it plastic money, right? So there can be many examples. So let's just take these examples at the moment and click on done. Similarly, for cash, you can add some synonyms as well. All right, so let's click on this button. So some of the synonyms can be, let's say, money. It can be also currency. It can be legal tender. It can be hard cash. It can be notes. It can be coins. It can be change. And if there are any other words, you can just add in this particular list. So basically you can add synonyms to manually expand the matching logic for each item in the entities list. Now for all these entities, you can also enable smart matching. Now this smart matching is a part of the intelligence supported by the bot's language understanding model. Now with this option enabled, the bot will interpret the user's input using fuzzy logic based on the list of the items in the entity. So in particular, the bot will autocorrect misspellings and expand its matching logic, semantically. So for example, if someone mentioned softball, the bot can automatically match the softball to baseball. Okay, so when you are finished creating or editing your entity and editing the list items and synonyms, you can select on save to save and return to the list of entities. And once it is saved over here, you can click on close to return to your entity list. Now let us see how we can use the entity payment method that we just created. Okay, so let us go to our topics and let me open the hotel booking that we have created earlier. Okay, so from here I can just go to the authoring canvas, and in this particular flow, if I scroll down where the user confirms if he is booking a hotel in a particular city and a particular date, and if he says yes, then I would like to ask a question like if they can choose the payment method. All right, so if you hover over here and select this add node in between, then you can ask a question over here saying please choose the payment method, and then you can click on the identify and then select the custom entity that you had created. So instead of scrolling down, I can actually search over here, and then you will see that I can see the payment method entity that I had selected, and I can click on this. All right, and then the result will be stored in this particular variable. So let me just change the name, and it's called payment method now, variable payment method. Now, all the payment methods that have been specified in that custom entity will not be shown to the user yet. To be able to show those options to the user, you need to click on select options for the user. And here you will see all the options that you had defined in your custom entities, right? So in this case, we had defined card and cash, and also we had to have defined some synonyms, right? So I want to display both the options. If you do not select this, it will not be shown to the user, okay? So if I select this and then tab out and save this flow, and once it is saved, I can go ahead and test this bot, okay? Especially I want to test this particular section if it comes up. All right, so I start from the beginning and I say hotel booking so that the bot gets triggered and it asks me for a city. I specify Brisbane, and then what date are you leaving? I would say 24/12/2021, and then it gives me a confirmation over here. And if I select yes, only then I will come to this particular please choose your payment method question. So I will select yes over here, and here you will see that it will ask me this question, or rather provide me these options to choose the payment method. All right, and over here I can choose either card or I can choose cash. Based on the option that I've selected, that will be stored in this particular variable, and then it will move forward. Now, of course, based on the selection, you can carry out many more actions. Over here, we do not have any action at the moment. The result will be the same. Either I choose card or cash. It will be stored in this variable, but then it will just move to the next step, right? So let me just choose card over here, and then you will see that it just moves on, right? So this is how you can use the custom entity that you created within a topic. Well, there is one more thing that we had to test, and that was the synonyms that we had created for this card and cash options, right? So how can we test that? So in this particular example, when I called this particular entity, it had card and cash. And if you remember that we had also specified synonyms, right? So what if instead of selecting these options, I provide one of the synonyms? Will this flow capture the right answer? So to test that, what I will do is I will provide a message over here and say display a message that you selected this option where payment method as your payment method. And then I will save this flow as well. So what this should do essentially is check, for example, when I come to this particular question, and instead of selecting these, if I just choose, let's say, plastic instead of card, then based on that selection, the system should automatically know which option I am referring to, and then stored the card option in this variable and then show that in the message. Okay, so let's just try that out. So let me just trigger this bot by saying hotel, and then it will ask me which city as usual. I'll say Brisbane, and then which date are you leaving? I will say 24/12/2021. And then are you sure you want to book the hotel? Yes. And then now it displays me to please choose the payment method. Now instead of selecting these two options, what I will say, instead of card, I will write plastic. Okay, that was one of the synonyms that I defined for card. So if I click on send, now based on the synonym that I provided over here, the system automatically mapped it to the right option, that is card, and then stored it in this variable and then displayed in this particular message, which you can see over here. You selected card as your payment method. All right. So this is how you can use synonyms within the items defined in your entities. Okay, so let us now see how we can call for an action. Okay, so let me just reset this. Now what I can do is, I really do not want this message because I just use it for testing purpose. So what I can do is I can click here and then click on delete. Now instead of that, I will add a note after the payment method asking for email. So I could just provide, please specify your email, and under identify I can select a pre-built entity called email over here. So there it is, and it will save this response over here. So let me just change this variable to email. Now, once the user has provided the email address, you can add some more actions or questions over here asking, do you want us to send the invoice? Or, you can get fancier with that. But for testing purpose, what I will do is directly call an action over here. I can add a node and call an action. And what I can do over here is create a flow. So what I'm trying to achieve is I have collected all the information, and now I will directly create a flow to send an email notification to the particular email address. Okay, so let's just go ahead and click on create a flow. Now, as soon as I do that, it will take me to the Power Virtual Agents flow template. And now, of course, if you have opened the Power Automate for the first time, then it will ask for some configurations. But if you have done that, then it should directly take you to the Power Virtual Agents flow template. So this is my template. Of course, in this particular training and webinar, we are not going to go through the details of how you should create a Power Automate. We can cover that in some other training session. So what I will do is go ahead and create a Power Automate to send an email notification based on the input that is required, and then we'll move forward. Okay, so what I've done over here is I have renamed the Power Automate to Hotel Booking Notification. And over here, what I have provided is an input. Okay, so to be able to send the notification, I need the input from the Power Virtual Agent to the Power Automate. All right, so I've created an input called input email, which I provided over here, and then I have selected an Outlook action to send an email. So whom am I sending it to? So I have selected the dynamic content over here, that is input email, which is coming from the Power Virtual Agent. And then I have provided a subject and a body, a simple body. Now you can get creative over here. You can provide some more inputs that you want from Power Virtual Agent. For example, if you want the details of the city, the date, and the payment method, you can create the variables over here, map it from the Power Virtual Agent, and then use that as your dynamic content over here. For this example, we have just provided a simple, email message. And then at the end, what is the written value that you want the Power Automate to send back to the Power Virtual Agent? So while the user is working with the bot, this is the message that gets sent out, that an email notification is sent to this particular input email. So the output for this Power Automate will be the input for the bot. Okay, so once you have defined this, you can go back to your Power Virtual Agents. I can add a node and then click on call an action, and now you will see that the hotel booking notification Power Automate that we created is available. So if I select this, it will ask the input email value. So you have to provide the mapping now. So for example, when you go back to your Power Automate, this is the input that I require from the Power Virtual Agent. So it's asking, okay, which variable do you want to map it to so that it can be an input to the Power Automate. So I want to send a variable email as an input to the Power Automate. And based on this input, you can create more inputs if you want. So based on this input, the Power Automate will work, and then it will send out a message at the end once it is finished with this notification, which is nothing but this output that we are sending. Okay, now this will act as an input over here to your Power Virtual Agents. Do you want to use this? You can actually use this. For example, what I can do is I can delete this message and tweak it a little bit and provide this notification over here. Okay, so whatever is the output from that Power Automate will be displayed over here. Okay, so let me just go ahead and click on save. And once it is saved, we can now test this bot. All right, so let me just provide the triggering mechanism. Let me just say hotel, and then the bot will ask me which city. I will say Brisbane, and then which date. Let me say 24/12/2021. And then, are you sure? I will say yes. And then please choose your payment method. I will choose card. And now it will ask me for the email address. So let me just provide my demo email address over here and then click on send. So now you will see that as soon as I provide my email address, it went into this particular action. And behind the scenes, it ran the Power Automate. It has sent me an email and also thrown out a confirmation message that an email notification is sent to this particular email address. So if you go to your Power Automate now, you can see that the flow has run successfully. And if I go to my Outlook, you will see that it captured the recipient, it captured the subject, and then it has sent this particular body that I had configured. All right, so this is how you can now go to your email address and check if the email has come or not. So basically, this is the way how you can call for an action and also create a Power Automate to run an action based on the inputs that you provide. Okay, so let's say that you have completed your bot and you have gone through all the testing and you're happy with it. Now, the next important thing that comes up is to publish the bot. So unless you publish the bot, it will not be available for you to deploy it to any environment or to use it. Okay, so if you, on the left hand side, if you go and click on publish, you will be shown this particular option and there will be a publish button available over here. And after you publish this, you can try the bot on your website or on the Teams as well. So we can just go ahead and click on publish and it will ask you, do you want to publish or not? And you can go ahead and click on publish as well. It will show you that your latest contents has been published. This will become available to use in about a minute. So it might take some time and then we can come back and see how we can use that bot. Okay, so once we have published our bot, what you can also do is there is a shareable link of a demo website. So if you open this, you will see that your shareable link contains a demo website where you can test your bot as well or see how your bot works. Or what you can do is you can go to this manage section and click on channels. Now this channels is the bot channels area where the bot will be available in various channels, for example, Teams, Facebooks, demo website, custom website, and whatnot. If you want to go to that demo website that we just saw earlier, you can also click over here. You can actually configure what you want to see in the welcome message because this is a shareable link. You can show it to your peers and then they can test it out as well. These are some conversation starters, so you can edit these and you can copy this to your clipboard, the shareable link. And if you make your changes, make sure to save the changes as well. All right. And when you paste this link over here and enter it, you will see that the demo website link is available here. Okay. So let's just go ahead and see how our published bot works. So for example, I can say hotel just to trigger that bot or the topic that we had created. And then I will say Brisbane. What date are you leaving? Again, 24/12/2021. Please choose your payment method. I can, instead of selecting this, I can provide a synonym. Let's say plastic. And then I can provide my email address over here. And then it will say, after running the Power Automate behind the scenes, it will send me this message. Thank you. An email notification has been sent. And then I can go ahead and check my email address if the email has been received or not. Okay, so did that answer your question? I will say yes. And then it will put me to a survey and I can select the survey and then thanks for your feedback. Can I help with anything else? No, thanks. And that's it. Okay, so similarly, if you want to display that to your custom website, for example, if you have your own website and you want to display this bot over there instead of the demo website, what you can do is under the channels, click on custom website, and this will give you the embedding code over here. So all you need to do is copy this code, snippet, and then you can add to the pages of your website. All right, and that bot would be displayed over there. Okay, so that's about the custom website. And now if you want to install the bot in your Microsoft Teams, then under channels, click on Microsoft Teams, and then you would have to turn on the Teams. Okay, so click on turn on Teams and it will add the channel. So once it is done, you can review how your bot will appear and you can edit the details to modify. So if you click on edit details, and over here what you can do is you can change the color of your bot, how it appears, and also change the icon over here. If you want, you can also provide short description, let's say hotel booking, and also long description over here. You can also click on more options, and you can specify the developer's name, the website, privacy statement, terms of use, and then click on save. All right, now your app ID is automatically generated and it's provided over here. You can use this app ID as well. Now, once you have done with your changes and you have saved it, you can actually test it in the Teams, and you can open the bot from here as well. Now, if you want to disconnect it, then you can click on disconnect from Teams. Otherwise, it will be connected. All right. So click on open Teams, and I will just choose the web version right now. And here it will ask you to add this bot. So you can click on add. And you will see that this app is available on the site navigation. If you want, you can also pin it as well. But here the bot is now available for you and the users in your team. All right. And you can go ahead and start chatting with this bot. So for example, let me just trigger it and say hotel booking. And then you will see that it will start asking you the question based on the topic that you had defined. All right, so you can just go ahead and start testing your bot, and this is how you use it with your teams. Now, coming on to the last topic of this training session is the escalation, or the transferring to an actual agent. Now, if I go to my topics over here and then go to hotel booking authoring canvas, so what I can do is change this flow a little bit. And then if the person says, no, this is not the right information, then it goes to a different flow where the reservation was not successful. And instead of ending the conversation, I'll just delete this. I will add a note and redirect to another topic. Now, what I can also do is also use this option of transfer to agent, or I can click on redirect to another topic where I have a pre-built topic defined by the system called escalate, or you can create your own as well. This will take me to the escalation, which is handing over the conversation to a real agent. However, this is not completely defined by the system, and it is open for you to customize as well. So what I can do over here, first click on save, and for me to edit this topic over here, I can go to escalate topic, and you will see that there are some trigger phrases. Now these are system defined, so I cannot change those. And then it comes to a message over here. It's a very generic message. So to be able to connect to a person, now click on the following link, and you can provide the link where it will take you through a conversation with a real person. In some cases, for example, if you want to transfer this to a case management system or a portal, you can provide the link over here as well, and you can go to your customer service hub, let's say in Dynamics 365, or to an external party as well. So for example, I can just say, okay, display this message to connect to a person. Now click on the following link, and if you have a relevant link, you can provide that. I'll just provide just for the demo purpose, support.microsoft.com, and then click on save. So I can test this bot again. And if you want to track between topics, that means, for example, if you're redirecting it to another topic, it will take you through that flow as well. So, you can switch this on and then test your bot again. So let me just trigger the bot, and let me just specify hotel, and it will ask me the city. I will say Brisbane, and then it will ask me the date. I will say some date, and then are you sure you want to book a hotel? So we have defined the condition on no. So let me just select no over here, that this details is not correct. And then it will take me to this particular topic. So since I enabled this track between the topics, now you will see that as soon as it went to this particular topic where I had redirected, now it is showing those flow over there. And obviously you can get creative and go forward and add some conditions or messages or a particular link to your support system. So you can go ahead and do all that, and in our case right now it is showing this particular link, and I can go to this link and open it. For example, if it was a support system, I can log my ticket over there. All right, so this is all about how you can use Power Virtual Agents, how you can create bot, how you can create topics, how you can create entities, use those entities in the topic, and how you can create actions, and also publish the bot. Use it with the demo website or your custom website, and also with your teams. And at the end you also saw the mechanism to hand the conversation to a real person. So this is all about Power Virtual Agents in this particular training and webinar. I hope you enjoyed, and why don't you go ahead and try it for yourself. Thank you again for your participation. My name is Paresh, and you can connect with me on my LinkedIn. Also, I would request you to join 365 Pros LinkedIn group if you want to see updates on upcoming training sessions. You can also join it on the Facebook group, which is again called 365 Pros. And if you want to subscribe to more such free content, you can go to Tech Quantum on YouTube and subscribe to the channel. Thank you again, and see you later with a different topic.